Welcome to Scam Busters, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of fraud and scams. Welcome to episode 1, everyone. My name's Phoebe.
And I'm Marlena.
And we are two very experienced bankers. And we, in this podcast, we help you really identify, prevent, and educate yourself on the world, the intricate world of frauds and scams.
We're gonna share real stories. We're not going to pick someone else's story, read from the books or newspapers. We're gonna tell you real stories. Whatever happened to our customers, we still working at banking, we still working at branch, we're meeting real people every single day. And pretty much every single day we have a new stories. And to sort of minimize all of those scams and frauds happening around the world, I could say, we are here.
Yeah, absolutely. And in today's episode, we're actually going to dive deep into our very first scam story, fraud story. Marlena has a very interesting story, personal story to you. And the reason why really we're here educating other people so that this doesn't happen to you or to your family or to your friends or to your neighbors or to yourself personally, right?
And pretty much that's why the whole drive for me to prevent those scams started from that story, which is very close to my heart. It happened to my dad. He lost all his life saving. So we're gonna explain how that happened, what should have been done to prevent it. And yeah, we start from there. So that's why we decided that story should
This
be
is why we're here.
our episode 1.
And before we go into episode 1, I think there seems to be a little bit of confusion, Marlena, around scams and frauds, because people think that scams are fraud and fraud is scams, but they're two separate things, right?
Yeah, it is a little bit different. So scam, it happened when customers, helping scammers.
Yeah.
It sounds very funny helping, but if, for example, you receive a phone call or you check on social media and you find some excellent deal or I can get something for very, very cheap, and you sort of provide your card number to purchase that product, but that product does not exist, that's a scam.
Yeah.
So you sort of provided scammers with your account details or with your card details. That's scam.
So unknowingly providing.
Knowingly.
Knowingly. We'll cut this out.
So knowingly provided your numbers, and unknowingly provided. If you don't know. If you don't know, so in the morning you wake up and you check your account and you notice that the money is missing.
Yeah.
But you press absolutely on anything, you didn't press on anything, you didn't provide your numbers.
Yeah.
That's fraud. So that could be from data leak. So sometimes you've got, even in television they said, so some of the big company, there was a personal details leak somewhere to the dark web or who knows where.
Yeah.
And those people, those scammers, they use your data to steal your money. That's sort of fraud.
Okay.
But if you scam, that means someone tricked you and you provided your details and they stole your money.
And so one thing that we want our viewers to remember, that not all scams are fraud, but all fraud are scams.
100%.
And Marlena, let's dive into your story. Share a little bit about your experience really and what drove you not only to fight for our customers and, just spread the awareness, but your situation, what happened with you.
Okay, so we were thinking what sort of story to share on, during our first episode, and that would be probably the closest home. My dad was victim of scam. He lost everything. He lost his life saving. What happened? So my dad, he lives overseas, but those sort of scenarios I heard from my customers as well here in Australia. So that happens pretty much everywhere. Dad received a phone call from police. He was advised that the bank, when he keeps all of his life savings, that someone works there who plans to steal his money.
Yeah.
And of course, at the beginning, he didn't believe those people. So the person who called him introduced himself as a police officer.
Yeah.
And he said to my dad, look, if you don't believe that I call from the from the police, please call direct number to police station, ask for myself, and they put you through to myself.
Yeah.
So you see that you're calling a real police station, which he did. So he called, but what happened? His telephone was ported to those scammers.
Oh, wow.
So someone picked up and he talked to scammers to make those whole situation more sort of believable for my dad. They said, look, again, if you don't believe us, we can meet you at the police station. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go to the police station. And what they also offered, they said, what we can do, we can keep all of your money, put for safekeeping to the police bank account, so the money will be safe, and then we will finish our investigation.
Yeah.
So my dad said, yeah, that's fine. So let's meet up at the police station.
Yeah.
The only thing he didn't sort of click at that time, they asked him how he looks like.
Okay.
But at that time, he didn't click it. He was quite concerned.
Yeah.
All his life saving. My dad is almost 80, so he was really concerned.
Yeah.
He went to the police station, and at the front of the police station, two people approached him and they said, are you Mr. whatever?
So, yeah.
And they showed their badges. They said, yeah, we are police officers. So that was pretty much was at the front of the police station.
Wow.
Yeah. They took my dad to the bank, and that is something which I was very upset about, because when they went to the bank, the tellers, they canceled my dad's term deposit. They withdrew all of his money, put that into, I don't know, envelope bag, gave it to the dad. Dad gave that money to the scammers. They said to my dad, that's some sort of, confirmation that we collected the money. In few days, you can come back to the same police station and you can collect your money, but, that's enough time for us to investigate the banker.
Yeah.
So he gave the money, went home, called my brother, and my brother, he's ex-banker.
Yeah.
And he said that it looks like you've been scammed, and yeah, that's true. So from all that story, what upsets me the most, nobody at the bank asked anything.
No questions.
No questions, yeah. He wanted to take all of his money. That was something outside the normal transactions.
Yeah.
That man, he was saving all his life, and all of a sudden he came and took the whole lot and nobody asked. And even now in a bank, we've got a customers, and yes, now we ask the questions, and people are getting
annoyed,
upset.
Yeah.
It's none of your business. That's my money.
Yeah.
Fully understand.
Yeah.
However, I will still keep asking.
Yeah.
Because that might sort of make you think.
Yeah.
And even for the bankers, now when you go to the bank, most likely you won't get the big amount pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's for the reason. Because if my dad had that chance to go home, talk to us, I would still get my inheritance. But yeah, that's how it is. Unfortunately, nobody asked, and that upsets me the most.
Yeah. Wow. And I can't even, where do you begin with a story like this? Like your dad.
Yeah.
How was he feeling? Like what was going through his mind?
That happened probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Still now he's very upset about it.
Of course.
Those people, I don't know, they approach him at the front of the police station. I don't know. They couldn't get the footage.
Yeah.
If there was any cameras, I don't know. But the whole story was so quick. They didn't sort of let my dad any time to think, any time to contact us. So, guys, be careful.
Yeah.
When you get a phone call, bank will never even police will never ask you to transfer money to third-party account
Yeah, of
for
course.
safekeeping.
Yeah.
Happens quite often. And what happened at that time, my dad was still on the phone with those people. They were still giving him instruction, and they would keep telling him, "Don't worry, Mister Whatever, go to the bank." And actually, they even gave him some scenarios. If the banker asks you, you have to say this, or that. Because they said, yeah, that in that particular bank, someone works, that person is dodgy. So that person might try to, tell you not to transfer money, but they never ask.
Yeah.
So probably in episode 2, I'm going to tell you the story from another lady from the branch.
Yeah.
And she almost lost $2 million, and the scenario was very similar.
Wow.
But that's gonna be next time.
And I think my next question would be: did Dad recover the money?
No.
So what happened with the bank?
Nothing. Bank never recovered money. My dad is still struggling with the loss. For people who are at that age, they planning, to have money if something happens, to have money, I don't know, I shouldn't say about retirement, even the funeral, not to put all of those costs, pass it on to the family. So my dad was saving, he was quite concerned with money all his life, and he lost it pretty much within 2 hours. So can you imagine? You work all your life, you're putting your money aside, you have some plan for your retirement, to do this or that, and all of a sudden that money is gone within an hour. Your whole life work. So that's one of the reasons we try to educate people, tell you all those real stories. And like Phoebe said, we work in a bank. We have those stories on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
And
we had one today.
We had one today. We had pretty much one every single day. And I'm comparing the fraud and scam scenarios a few years back and now. It's a huge increase.
Absolutely.
We never had that.
And
now it's on a daily basis. So be careful who you talk to over the phone, who approach you over the phone.
Yeah, and I think a big sign, a big sign, number one, is people asking for personal information, especially if, as a bank, for example, we are not going to call you and ask you for your personal information just out of the blue and randomly, right? So it's sometimes it's the little things that you look at, but sometimes it's also the links that you're clicking into, the things that you're opening on social media.
With those personal information is yes and no, Phoebe, because sometimes bank might call you because there is something outside the normal transaction, so they notice. So what the banks usually does, they send you a message to your mobile phone. You have to be very careful with that as well, because someone can trick you, but most likely you might receive a message and you just put yes or no. I think just replying yes or no is quite safe, so you don't click on any links. But again, usually what the bank does, if you say no, that you never spent $300 somewhere in Asia or Africa or Europe, so someone from fraud department might give you a call and might ask you the personal information. So what I would suggest, take your bank statement, take your card, turn the card over. You've got the telephone number to the bank, and you contact the bank before the bank contacts you.
Absolutely.
I think that's much, much safer.
Absolutely.
Because again, you don't know if the bank calling you.
Absolutely.
And the scammers, they can trick you. Again, it's probably next episode, because we can go on and on and
deeper
on.
Into the world of scams.
But yes, you might receive a phone call. It's usually when you reply to that message. So usually the message is, did you spend this and that amount? Because the bank system is getting quite advanced, and the banks know what's your normal transaction. So if you never use online banking, and all of a sudden you've got a 20 transaction using your credit card online, the banks will know.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
you'll get a message. Sometimes that could be in the middle of the night because the money is spent overseas.
Yeah.
So you might receive that message.
Yeah.
And usually the bank, when the banking hours starts, they will give you a call.
Yeah.
Again, please get your cards, dial the number, and even if you're upset, you're nervous, what the bank will do to prevent any fraud to happen, or to make sure none of your funds are lost or stolen, they'll put a temporary block on your card.
Correct, yeah.
On your online banking, and then you've got enough time in the morning to go to the bank and discuss.
Exactly right. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want you to do. We want you to come into the bank and discuss it. And that's the reason why now we see a lot more customers coming in due to these fraud blocks, is because we want you to come in, confirm, we go through, we do what we have to do, but in person, in front of you.
And that could be even a good time to review your banking, because people are not reviewing the banking for years until they
Something
actually
happens,
come to the bank, and it's a good thing to do it.
Yeah, exactly right. And Marlena, I've seen a big rise in frauds and scams since social media has boomed.
Absolutely. Scams started pretty much maybe 4 years ago. There was no scams. Bank didn't even have a scam department. There was only frauds. There was just one department, frauds, looking for frauds. So I remember 20 years ago when we had a fraud in a branch. Oh my God, the whole branch talked about it. And we, because that was something new that didn't happen.
The tale of the week.
There was not much of internet banking that time. Now, on a daily
Every
basis.
day. And sometimes
single
it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 10 times a day. Yeah.
But what I like as well with the bank I work for, the people are coming before they lose their money. They're coming because the account is blocked and cards are blocked. People sometimes they come because they're upset that they cannot use their funds, but it's for a reason. We just sometimes maybe it's a wrong word, overprotected, but we are. We are. There's so many different scams and frauds. So before that happened, the system knows, and just in case, just to prevent that fraud or scam from happening, is blocking your account. So that's why that many people comes to the branch. But like I said, sometimes it's a good thing. You've got a chance to review your banking, but also it's good to sit with us, and then we can educate you as well.
Yeah, amazing. So what do we have for next week, Marlena? What are we diving deep into next week?
Look, like I said, there's so many different stories. Maybe we talk about your story when you tried to apply for a job.
That's right.
And you provided your details online.
Provided all my details.
So
the red flags were red, but I still went ahead because you gotta do what you gotta do to get a job.
Okay, so we're not saying anything else. That's for
to
the
be
next
continued.
time.
To be
Okay.
continued. Thanks
Bye.
for joining us, guys. Thank you for joining episode 1. How exciting. And we'll see you for episode 2. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you're not missing out on all these stories that we've got. But also
questions.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to hear from us. And we try our best to answer your questions. If not, on a chat, then probably we can create another episode based on the
questions. Absolutely. And we'll bring in what we call Scam of the Week, where we'll educate you on the latest trending scam or fraud. So that way you can protect yourself, you can protect your family, and also educate those around you.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.